Hello everyone, thank you for joining today. This is Yusufchowdhury again here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm a digital marketing coach. And today's topic is about link building 101 and the 5 areas of traffic that you need to know. So I'm gonna flip the screen pointing towards the the TV, so I won't be able to engage with you guys. So please be patient with me. If you have any question, go ahead and leave the comment right here, and later on after the workshop, I'll go ahead and follow up and answer all your questions. Okay? So there you go. Hey, Terhil, how you doing? All right, let me flip this. All right, there you go. Okay, that's better. All right, folks, so here we go. So today's session is going to be on link building. Well, before I move forward, anybody knows what is link building? Before I move forward.
Yes, incoming links to your website.
Absolutely, incoming links to your website. So I'm assuming you're the only one who did it, right? And what about you? You have a little bit small idea?
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely need to learn more though.
Okay, cool, excellent. So, like Steven said, the actual definition, if you want to understand what link building is technically, basically a hyperlink, link coming from a different website to your website. That's all it means, basically. Okay. Now let me ask you this question: if you posted your link on your Facebook profile, and somebody clicked on it and visited your website, is that considered link building? Is that considered link refer? Is that considered what?
I don't know, but it should open in a new tab, a new site.
Right.
Or you're on another page in your own site. Internal or external link.
Correct. There's external link building, and there's also external, and there's also internal. But that idea of having your website, let's say on Facebook, about page, somebody clicked on it, can that be considered link building?
Yes.
Right? It's possible, right? But no. Mario says no, you said yes. Because remember, the definition says what? Process of acquiring a hyperlink from other websites to your own.
Not all Facebook links are public, so
right.
If they are public, you are link building. If they're not, then you're not link building.
Excellent point. Yes, if it's public, that means it's publicly open, anybody can click and see it, then there's a good chance of considering it a link process, right? But if it's private, how people can find it? Unless it's a private community. But the original idea, if you think about link building, like in terms of the concept, right? And in terms of how people used to do, it's like your link on a website. Let's say on a content website, on a PR website, on somewhere else where people can see the link and they click, it just hits back to your site.
Mine is the dictionary.
I'm sorry?
The dictionary.
Dictionary, right? Because sometimes even refer link can be considered link building, right? So the definition actually is not 100% accurate, right? Because there's no defined definition like, okay, because if I have my LinkedIn Twitter profile, which is public, people can find my Twitter account and they click on my link, I can get hit back to my website, right? But the way specifically, when you look at the search engine in general, and if you look at Google specifically, in Google, they define traffic in 5 areas. Like if you go to Google Analytics, there are like 5 channels. That's what I'm talking about. What are those 5 channels, right? So before I move forward, so this is what simply link building means. It's just the process of acquiring a link from another website. So that means my website is probably posted on a PR site or on a blog website or on a directory website, and it's just coming back to my site. Why? Because when I get a link back to my website, that is considered what? A vote.
Link juice.
Link juice or boost is considered a vote. So the more links you have, the better, because that means you're popular. Just like in real life, like a refer. If people refer to you all the time, oh, you're popular, right? But even then, when it comes to the actual link, you have 2 kinds of link, right? You have the no follow and do follow.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So by default, every link is
Follow.
Do follow. That means if I link from, let's say, Betty's well-known blog to Steven's website, and it's do follow, when the search engine flows from Betty's website to Steve's website, it will pass the link juice. It will pass the SEO boost. It will share it. It will give it to you so you can get ranked too. Does that make sense? And no follow is opposite. In the no follow, the Google Spider or the bot or the search engine bot will actually pass the link, but it will not share the juice. I call it, you're not going to share the juice. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between follow and no follow. Do follow and no follow. Okay? By default, every hyperlink that you create is do follow. That means you will always pass the link juice, right? So what Google says sometimes, if you are an affiliate, if you do reviews on Amazon product, equipment product and whatnot, because Amazon is highly ranked, there's no reason, there's no point of having a do follow because they only rank. Why should I pass my juice to Amazon? Does that make sense? Then you can use no follow. There's a tag on, on the back end. You can say no follow. That means okay, the spider can pass the link, but it will not pass. It will not give the boost. It will not pass the boosting to somebody else. Does that make sense? So those are the difference between no follow and do follow. Now, so why link building is still matters? Some people say link building is dead. 2015. That's what they say. And in a way, my personal opinion, I still disagree because first, I think it still matters because it's due to the nature of the crawler itself. If you know how the search engine crawler, the software, the bot, the spider that travels the internet, right, to look for every pages, they were designed, right? They were designed to fetch from one link to another. That's what they do. They just fetch. They go from one web page to another to index those pages, right? In order for them to index those pages, they look at the content, the key phrases, the links, and all the qualities that Google's webmaster guideline tells you to do. So by nature, that's what it does. So when someone tells me it's dead, what do you mean it's dead? That's what the search engine does. So that makes no sense when somebody says link building is dead. Link building is not dead. What happened, it actually improved more. It got advanced a little bit. In fact, it became more difficult to implement link building. I'm gonna share with you the old school way of link building and the new way of link building. Okay? And I'm gonna also share with you when we do SEO or online marketing to thousands of our customers, we have a specific strategy we use that works with any client. And I want to share those with you, okay, at the end of the session. So why link building still matters? Because as I mentioned in the beginning, because that's the nature of the search engine, that's how the search engine works. If you go to Google Analytics or any analytical software, they will always look for what? Refer link, backlink, keyword, all the signals. Why do these tools look for this information if it didn't matter? Does that make sense? It still matters, right? Then, like Steve said, it creates that inbound links, and that inbound links matters too because I need to know, are they coming from a blog? Are they coming from a PR site? Are they coming from a video website? Does that make sense? So I can engage with those audience. So I can connect with them, okay? And it also helps you to analyze. If I'm looking at my competitor, let's say I'm typing this specific organic key phrase and my competitor's website shows up on the front page. When I analyze them, I do see that they have certain links pointing it back to them. And I can also look at the quality of those links. Are those links content-based? Are those links videos? Are those links press release sites? Are those spam links? Are those low-quality links? Does that make sense? Which will allow me to look at some of the information that I can tap into. If I can see my competitor ranking because that's what they did, okay, I'm going to do something similar. So I can eventually be within the same playground. Does that make sense?
But you can clean the one that you don't like.
You're absolutely correct. You can definitely clean the one that you don't like. Absolutely. It also helps you generate traffic. So one of the technique in SEO that if you want traffic, you definitely have to get some sort of link pointing back to you, right? Otherwise, how would you get traffic? So that's what I say, that link building still matters. You will come across people that will say, oh, link building is dead, doesn't work. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't work? This is the nature. What happened again, it got improved. That's what happened. It got a little bit actually difficult and it improved a little bit. And the reason those algorithms changed because some people were abusing the link building process. Like they were building the link for the purpose of getting ranking. They were not building the link for the purpose of putting value, putting quality, giving best content to the customer. They were doing it so they can just rank. Does that make sense? Like, making a fake website through Blogger or WordPress, throwing any content out there and LinkedIn, crazy stuff like that. That's why. So that's why I still believe And I need you to understand that link building, which is one of the process of SEO, it is not the process. Does that make sense? It is just one of the process of search engine. It's link building. So link building is not the whole SEO. Make sure you understand that, right? Because people think link building is SEO. No, SEO just, in the SEO itself, you have on-site SEO technique. You have technical, then you have creative, then you have copy, then you have content, then you have internal link building. Then outside the website, you have what do you call it, social media promotion. You have this. I mean, so many work. And link building is one of those outside promotional technique. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I know Mario asked me, hey, can you do a link building class? Sure, we'll do it. Specifically for that. Okay? So there you go. Any questions so far? Why link building still matters? Are we good? All right. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to share with you the link building, which is the old school way. And now, if you look at Moz.com and the Search Engine Lab and all these awesome experts in SEO, they will tell you now they talk about link earning and not link building. And of course, the process is a little bit much difficult. So in the old days, they used to do what? Link exchange. So I'll give you my link, I'll give you my link, you give me your link, right? I'll give you my link, you give me your link. Exchange it. I'll put my link in your website, you put my link in my website. So nowadays, I don't think that, excuse me, I don't think that works very well because again, if you do that for the purpose of ranking, then that is something that Google don't appreciate. That you're not doing it for the purpose of giving value, you're just trying to manipulate the search to rank. So back in the days, if people just focus on, hey, let me put my link on your website and put your link on my website, and that's it, it's not going to work anymore. Because if your website is, let's say, getting all the traffic, but you sell, I don't know, dog food, and I'm here to sell ice cream, there's no relationship in the both. So the ranking doesn't matter, okay? So the difference between the before and now, we call it cross-promotional. Cross-promotional means, let's say Steve here, he's a digital marketer, he's a very well-known in the community, he writes tons of awesome content. If me and him constantly writing content, if I'm a guest blogger on his website, or if you do like a podcast together, or if you do like exchanging ideas on his high-ranking website without trying to manipulate for the purpose of ranking, that is called cross-promotional. Does that make sense? That means I am a constant guest writer or a constant guest podcaster or a blogger, and I'm providing value to his audience constantly. That is something okay, right? But if you're trying to do it for the purpose of just getting linked, you got to be very careful. I know a lot of bloggers, they do that. They try to exchange, links back and forth. The best way to do it is that if you do a guest post for another blogger, make sure you just focus on the value of the content. When the audience read the content and they scroll down on the bottom, you have your short biography, right? So in that biography, you can have your link. Does that make sense? Because in the content, you're not trying to manipulate the content just for the sake of getting linked. Does that make sense? Because your focus is supposed to be, what? I'm going to go and post something very unique on Betty's website that is only for her and her audience. Does that make sense? And that way, her audience going to read my information. If they like it, oh, let me click his bio, boom. Oh, it takes me to his website. That's the proper way. Does that make sense? So be careful because even guest blogging, unfortunately, I don't know if it was this year or last year, there was a website called myguestblog.com, I think, that was founded by Amy Smotty. And Amy Smotty, she's one of the proponents of white hat SEO and Google and everything ethical, right? Everything that's supposed to be legit. Even her website got penalized. Because according to Google, people abused her service. Because my guestblog.com used to be a place where I can go there, find guest bloggers, and have them guest blog on my website, or I can go there and provide my guest blogging to somebody else. So according to Google, I don't know, because sometimes actually I don't believe Google. Okay, so they penalize our site. So if you go to Google right now, it's not there anymore. But all she was providing is just value and content. Does that make sense? All right, so that's the link stream the old way. The other one that people used to do back in the days, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, email blast for links. So they blast their email asking people, hey, link back to me, or let me link back to you. Don't do that. Okay, that's not gonna work. Buy links, of course, that's been no since day one. Do not buy links regardless. There are some companies that actually provide that service, and you don't want to do that because Google finds out, they're going to throw it to the sandbox. Okay? Submit directories was very popular like 5-6 years ago. You paid companies and they submit your address or your link to all these 1,000 directories. Used to work, but not anymore. Okay, now it's a little bit different. I wouldn't say don't submit to directories. You still do, but you have to be very selective. Like who you're gonna pick for the directory. If I was an attorney, I'm gonna put my information where? Findlaw.com, right? Because findlaw.com is a resource that has tons of articles, like tons of posts from attorneys, but at the same time, it's a directory for attorneys. And they get like 2 million hits. Does that make sense? So you have to be specific niche based. Like maybe the Better Business Bureau, you can post, if you have an account with them, just put it there. If you're part of the local chamber, the small local chamber of commerce, they have a website. Guess what? They have a directory for business, right? You can do that because it's specific. It's not just for spamming, it's meant for businesses. It's meant for people to look for specific businesses in that area. So those are okay.
Or a site that maybe San Antonio lawyers.
Yeah, or for the startup, Crunchbase. Crunchbase.com, it's for all the startup, any IT startup companies. I highly recommend that they should go to crunchbase.com and they post the information there because Crunchbase is mainly for what? For startup companies, tech companies, and they have information about the company and whatnot. So those kind of stuff is still okay because they are not just value-based, they're very niche-based. Does that make sense? And at the same time, it serves the audience. So Crunchbase didn't just make for the sake of just having information. They created it so investors and startups and students can go and look for different things. So there's a purpose there. Does that make sense? So, but if you submit to every directories, I mean, that's not going to help. Article directories, that was very popular back in the day. Remember? Go to article, easy an article. It was very popular back in the day. So people used to make like bunch of articles and submit it to article sites and they get a backlink from the article site. But that doesn't work anymore. So what should I do right now? Should I still stop using article directories?
No.
Betty's right. So what I would do, I'm not going to use article directories to create a backlink. If I know somebody still go to that site, if I can write something awesome that is valuable, that they will read it and come back to my site, that is okay. But does it help? Honestly, right now it doesn't help that much because I think Google deranked some of the article site. Yeah, like is an article, I think they got, if you double check that for me, I think they didn't get penalized, they just got deranked in the ranking. All right, but that's what people used to do. Article everywhere. They even have a ridiculous software called the article spinner. So you write let's say your blog and you put in this software and it makes 1,000 versions of the same article using synonyms and all this ridiculous thing, right? So when you read it, it makes no sense. It's like a robot, right? Then what happens after you're done, it automatically submits to 200 article sites. Like ching, 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 go into the article site, submits automatically. And what happened with these article sites, because they themselves are not manually approved, it automatically gets in and it accepts the submission. That's another thing Google doesn't like. If there was an article site that is being organized by somebody manually, that means somebody actually checks it, right, and approves it, then that will have been okay. In fact, Easy an Article used to be like that, but it's still, they unfortunately got abused a little bit, right? So that's what people used to do, man. I mean, it's crazy. Like, what? This is crazy. People buy it. They buy this software. It's $97. Article spinner. We'll spin your article with humanly readable. It is 100% human ready. Yeah, whatever. Then one of the most popular thing I used to see is they leave links in the comments. So when you go to different forums, they leave links like in Google Plus or Facebook or forum sites. It used to work, but now Google's not going to care about it. So don't do that.
But that work for example to get only people to go to your site or go to your
I mean, just people go there and let's say.
But not for CEO.
That's what they do for SEO. So I go to Betty's website. She talks about cupcake, and I'm going, yeah, cupcake's beautiful. I leave my link for no reason. What the heck, right? And people used to do that. If you go to freaking Fiverr, people still do that. You pay somebody $5 and they go to this forum, they just drop your link for no reason. Oh, this article is great. My link. That's so spammy, right? You don't want to do that. So that's all tactic. Analyzing your competitor still matters. So when you analyze I'm going to share a couple of tools with you guys. When you analyze your competitor, back in the day, they used to look at all the links and they used to try to dominate all of them. That means if my competitor submitted in all these places, I'm going to copy exactly what they did. Don't do that because it's possible that they did it wrong. Does that make sense? But these are what people used to do 7 years ago. Some of them actually black, like the article spinner is considered gray hat. It's not considered a white hat technique. Leaving comments considered, black hat too, because you're just spamming the heck out of people's site. Last one is build network link for site. So there was some website, like blog something website, blog network, where you join them, and all they do, they just exchange link. Hey, look at my blog, look at your blog. That's it. But it used to be a huge network, and some of them got penalized because it did help with ranking. That's the fun part, is that it actually worked. So people didn't like that. That's going to penalize those guys. Does that make sense? So this is the old way. Not all of them are wrong. I mean, you can still. This is the new way. So the old way is this that I mentioned, right? And the new one, as I mentioned, cross-promotional. So if you know somebody, let's say a blogger that you follow, and then the same niche, right? You can do a guest blogging for them. You can have both of you can have like some sort of podcast interview, or just be with them for quite some time. But for instance, Moz.com, they have their own blog, right? But a lot of time they write content for one of their partners called Distill. Distill is like another awesome SEO company. So you will see a lot of the content on Distill, and Distill some of the content in Moz, like repeatedly. So that actually helps because there's a cross-promotional thing going on, right? But they don't do it for the sake of ranking. They do it because there's a huge value. Does that make sense? So the new way of doing it, cross-promotional, social sharing. It's not hard. You have content, make sure it's shareable. Make sure people actually share it, and make sure you share it. So if I post a blog right now on my website, I need to make sure that I post it on my Facebook, on my Twitter, on my Pinterest, myself. I'll share it everywhere so other people can share it as well. Why? Because if they like your content and they share it, there's a chance that they can come back to your main website, right? So you make another link. In fact, they can take your content and write about you. That's another way of writing a good link building process. Then earn link with content. So previously we talked about buying links. Right now you don't buy links. Right now, earn link with content. That means if I go to a different website, if Mario's going to write something for me, I'll make sure that here are awesome content and refer me like naturally. You're not writing it for the sake of just putting it back to me, but you're writing it because you want people to go back and check my content and information and whatnot, because you have to earn it, right? Then curated list and portal. So if you look at Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur magazine, Huffington Post magazine, a lot of the content is curated. That means they actually will take submission from different bloggers, different content writers. And all those sites are heavily, ranked. They have like a huge readers, huge followers, huge ranking. And imagine your content coming up from there. Because those sites, they curate. What does curate mean? They just take content from different places and list them on their site. Like if you go to Inc.com and go to Business Insider, sometimes you'll notice both of them have the same information from the same author.
Is that what an aggregator does? Go grab.
No, aggregate is different. Aggregate could be like RS feed. It could be different, like a Feedly. It could be a different tool that just picks information. This is manually done. It's not just to pick it up. It's manual.
Do they actually copy the content, or they?
There's a way to copy.
But I mean, they're not original submissions.
What they do is that's a good question. There are two ways to do it. The proper way that they ask the author, right? They ask the author, can we submit this under the author's name and everything? That's the proper way to do it. The other one, I can copy anybody's link without getting penalized by using the canonical URL. There's a tag on the meta tag called canonical URL. So if I copy the whole thing, and on the back end I say canonical URL, basically I'm telling Google, hey, this is not the original content. The original content is from Berry, but I made it look like a copy. That is okay. That is okay. But the best practice is what? You ask the author, can we post it, on your behalf, or we can create an account for you as an author so you can log in and post it, whatever how you like. Okay? Because I know you were thinking about the duplicate content, right? That's what you're thinking. No, if you use the canonical, that's not considered a duplicate. Even though it is, but you're telling Google already, hey, I'm not the original author. I'm just copied it. I'm using your rule to let you know that you don't have to rank me. The original author is right there. He should be ranked. Because what Google's going to do, if you have the same article in the 10 website, Google's not going to show all of it on the front page. Google's going to pick only one website with that article. Because there's no point of having same site with the same content, because the user will be like, I don't want to do the same thing again and again. That's boring.
And then how ranking? Is ranking from the website is more links or more access, or how ranking to put it?
There are 200 ways of ranking. I can talk about all of them today. There are 200 ways, more than 1,000 ways to get ranked.
No, it's like, for example, you say the same content in 10 pages. How Google take the best one for the 10?
Right.
It's like,
well, Google's going to pick the original author.
Okay.
Not the other one. First is going to look at the original author, plus when it was posted, and what other elements and what do you call it?
For the day posted or something.
They're going to look at the elements and also the factors. What other factors? And like I said, there are more than 200 to 1,000 factors for Google to decide which one they're going to pick. But technically, if you're the original author, you shouldn't be worried about it, because you have the date and everything. Does that make sense? Some people are concerned about plagiarism. Some people, unfortunately, idiots, copy the same thing, right? And they put it on their website. But now what happens with Google, not necessarily with Google, right now if you copy any content, guess what? The name of the author get pasted somewhere else. So they have to manually remove the author. Try that. Just go to Huffington Post, just copy the whole content. Don't copy the author. Just copy and paste it in Word document. You will see on the bottom, the author's name is there too. That's how it works right now with most of the sites. Okay? Alright, so with the new way is social sharing, links with content, curated lists and portals, guest posts on high quality blogs. So when you do a guest post, don't just go to every blog and post like crazy. If I'm an online marketer, and let's say I know somebody else was an online marketer and they're very good, I'm going to be very selective. Because people that take my blog post as a guest, they need to manually double check and make sure it's good. Does that make sense? So I'm going to have to be very selective where I am posting. But before, people just posted left and right anywhere. Do you accept the guest blog? Okay, can I give it to you? Right? So that's what people used to do. They just go to any site and just post. You don't want to do that. You got to be very, very selective. Okay?
Now, but sometimes I read like a celebrity was dead or divorced or whatever. And you open in Google one article and you see 10 sites under with exactly the same text. How come that they can copy that?
Like I said, they can copy it if they use the canonical URL tag. It is okay for them to copy if you use that. And the reason they did that, you know why? Because they have their own audience. So they want to show to their audience, look, we have this content too. Does that make sense? Just like the news. I mean, if you go to the news, most of them are the same.
Yeah, because
you know?
With the Pope, all
everyone is talking about it.
It's still the same.
Right, everyone's talking about it. Okay, so guest posts on high quality blog. That means targeted, niche-based blog. Don't just do a guest post everywhere. Does that make sense? I mean, if it's relevant to your niche and they accept it, then go ahead and do it. But even if you do it, let's say Mario said, hey, can you do a guest blog for me? Sure, I'll do it for you. I'm going to write a content just for his site. That means that same content is not anywhere else. Why is that? Because I want to make sure that his website is more valuable, his audience is more valuable. It will not be fair for him that I'm going to post it on his site, then on Betty, then on Steve. That makes no sense. So when you do a guest blogging, keep it unique. Like what I mean by that is specific to that particular person. Does that make sense? Because that way it's unique to you and to your audience. Then Google can see there's a distinction here. He's not just posting it everywhere. Especially when we don't even have 1 million hits. But if you get 1 million hits, that's a different story. Engage in groups with value. That means if I join Facebook group or Google Plus group or LinkedIn, you have your profile, right? So make sure you provide a lot of value, a lot of advice, a lot of tips. That's how people will find you. Because again, you're not trying to manipulate the search engine. You're just trying to give some value. And people look at you and they're going to find you who you are and they're going to follow back through your profile or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? Don't just go there and... Have you seen some people that kind of try to act like they give value, but at the end of the comment they leave the website all the time? Don't do that. You're not even sincere. Don't even do that. Just leave the comment. And that's how people follow you. That's why on Facebook I'm very active with a lot of groups. Always sharing content, always giving advice. Does that make sense? So when people click my profile, oh, this is a website. Or when they ask me publicly, then I can put my link. What's your website? Here you go. That's my website. Because you have to be very authentic. Does that make sense? So don't try to manipulate. Analyze competitor content. Yes, so instead of just analyzing their backlink of your competitor, when you analyze them, make sure to see which content got the most views for your competitor. Does that make sense? So I can either promote them, or I can maybe write something similar or better than them. Does that make sense? That is more powerful than just, okay, so Betty, she posted in like, I don't know, 20 press release site, she made so many article site. Am I going to do the same thing? Not necessarily. But if one of her blog posts got a lot of share, got a lot of comment, oh, that's pretty good. She got a lot of information in that blog post. Let me write something better than her. Does that make sense? That is more powerful than just trying to copy and paste everything what your competitor does. Because right now, if you analyze your competitor, not everything they do is legit. Some of them has like link spam, some of them is just crappy, some of them like, you know, good or not good. So you don't want to just copy everything. Just look and see which one has an authority link, which one has more value than trying to, you know, do something better than them that can help you. Does that make sense? Okay. Build a social network of influencers. So that's the best thing with social media, that you can have a Facebook group, you can have a Google Plus group. Okay, well right now unfortunately I'm going to close Google Plus profile, a LinkedIn group, and bring all the influencers within your industry, right? And just build a community. And from there, you're going to get natural backlink. People are going to ask you, can I read your content? Can you, like when I do sometimes Periscope, people ask me, did you blog this? Are you going to put it on your website? Because it's very authentic, very real. Does that make sense? So let the link building build by itself. That's why right now in 2015, building link is a little bit challenging. And it takes more time. It takes more time for you to get a lot of backlink. Before, as you can see, like if you go here, that's very easy. I can just do comment, I can submit link, I can do a lot of crazy stuff. Use software. Some of them are black hat, some of them are gray hat technique, some of them are white hat technique. But in 2015, we're going to focus more on content. So even if I'm going to do a link building, I'm going to share with you some technique. How can I put content out there that at the same time is valuable to their audience? Does that make sense? So any questions so far about the link building and link earning? Are we good? All right. Now, some of the tools that I'm going to have to ask you to make sure you use it. So every website must have what? Google Webmaster Tool or Google Analytics. You need these two because this one will tell you what's happening to your traffic, where the traffic is coming from, so you can analyze them. And this one will basically tell you if your on-site SEO is done properly right, if the Google crawler finds any errors, or if there is some sort of malware attacking your site, or you have some sort of virus. Does that make sense? Or if you want to index it, this is going to help you out.
Is the Google Analytics, that's a script that you install, but Google Webmaster Tools, is that just more of utility because that checks your site, or do you actually have to install it?
That's an excellent question. Basically, you don't install it, you configure it. So it's similar. There are 5 ways of configuring the Google Webmaster Tool. You can configure it through connecting with your analytics. You can configure it through your hosting provider. You can configure it by uploading an HTML tag to your server. So there are 5 ways. But you do have to verify. It's the same concept with analytics, where it can be a script in the back end to read your site. Same thing with this one. Okay? But both of them are very, very important. Okay? Because this one will tell you what's happening, what's going on, where the link is coming from. And this one will tell you if the spider, the Google bot, if it reads anything, if there's any issues, if there's, like broken links.
Like the
technical side, like a broken link, spam links that you need to remove it. So that's why these two are must, and both are free. Does that make sense? Okay, so you need to make sure you have these, okay? All right. Then we need to use some of these tools. So you have SiteLiner that will check any broken links. It will check if you have any duplicate content within your website. We can try right now in a few minutes. Open Site Explorer from Moz, it will do the same thing. You can analyze your competitor. You can have up to like 3 or 4 competitor. Put your website and put your competitor's website and see what's the difference. Like, what's their ranking? How many links they have? And what are those links? Okay? Ahrefs is very popular. It's mostly for link for link analysis. Screaming Frog, do you like it, Martha? Screaming Frog, it's free. Is it completely free or have a paid version?
I don't know.
So Screaming Frog is a software. You download it, and it will do the same thing. It will basically analyze everything from your on-site SEO meta tag to external links to outside links. outbound links, internal links, everything. So this is another free tool that you can download. We can probably test it in a few minutes, show you how it works. Okay? Any questions so far? We good? All right. So, that's for you to understand and realize there are 5 areas of traffic that you have to realize and understand. Those 5 areas of traffic, the first one is, and this has nothing to do with the link building, but I want you to understand how traffic works, right? So the first one is called organic. That means if I'm a dentist, right, and the name of my practice is Crazy Ninja Dentist, right, in San Antonio. So let's say my patient goes to Google and they type best dentist provider in San Antonio or best dentist or just a keyword, right? And they find my website and I get traffic. That's called organic. That's what the SEO stands for. This is what the SEO comes into play. Direct, that means they know me, so they go to my website, which is called crazyninjadentist.com, and they just type that on the browser, right, and just go to my website. That's called direct traffic. Anytime when you go to Google Analytics and you see these, you're going to see the organic, what keywords they use, but not all of it, some of the keyword, and direct, how many percentage of direct traffic coming to my website. That means people knew you or know you, and instead of searching, they open the browser and they type the domain address. That's called direct. Okay? Refer, this is like PR, guest posting, guest blog, direct from site. So that's what this is where a lot of link building happens there, because you can see all the links that is heading back to you. Okay? Paid, basically using Google AdWords or Facebook advertising or Pinterest ad, LinkedIn ad, Twitter ad, Instagram ad, basically paid online advertising. The last one's social. So Google will show you how from which social channel you're getting traffic. Is it from Facebook? Is it from YouTube? Is it from LinkedIn? Is it from Periscope? Right now, Periscope, in the Periscope profile, you can actually click on your link, and people go to that link. Does that make sense? So when you look at the traffic that is coming to your website, these are the 5 areas that Google pay attention to, which means you have to also implement them, right? Does that make sense? I mean, if Google is going to look at these 5 areas, why not? I can do the same thing. So I'm going to do SEO, so I'm going to make sure that people know my brand. I'm going to make sure I do a lot of link building, like relevant, proper link building. If I want to invest in Google AdWords, I'll give it a shot, or Facebook advertising. I need to make sure that I'm very active on social media. So Google will tell me what's exactly going on. Okay? So those are the 5 areas of traffic. Now, how you do it, it could be different.
The referral, you said was what?
Referral means any site pointed back to you. Could be a PR site, could be a directory, could be YouTube, could be anything that points it back to you. So Google will tell you where you're getting the traffic, where you're getting the link from. Because here, it will tell you what keyword you use to get the hit on the site. This one, it will tell you somebody just typed it directly. It's not going to show you the link. It will just tell you how many percentage of people type your domain name. It's not going to show you where the link came from. This one will show you where the link came from. So if you do any link building technique and process, this is what you need to look for. Not necessarily that and this, right? And of course, paid mean if I pay Google AdWords, I get the hit to the site. Or if I'm very active in social media, it will tell me which site. So for instance, let's say you're very active in Periscope and you have your profile link on your profile. If you go there and you see that, oh, Periscope, pointed back to your site, oh, cool, that means it's working. I need to be active more in Periscope. I need to increase more content. Does that make sense? If I'm very active in Facebook and I see traffic hitting back to my site, oh, that means I need to be more active in Facebook. So that's what you need to look for when you log into your Google Analytics. Okay? Any questions so far? We good?
Yes, sir.
Amazing. All right. So the first technique is, and this is the simple technique, always blog. Okay? Start writing. So when you write content, remember, you're always going to write it to who? Your audience. All the time when you write content, don't worry about the search engine right now. Just write the content to your audience. Make sure this content is amazing. I know what my customer need. I know what kind of problem they're going through, and I'm the solution for them. So I'm going to share all these solutions. I'm going to give them tips. I'm going to give them how-to. I'm going to give them case studies. I'm going to give them testimonial from clients, but a bunch of content. But this content has to be good, not just like crappy content, just like anything. Make sure that when somebody reads it, like, wow, I'm going to share this because it's very valuable, it's amazing. Okay? So once you write a compelling content, make sure you optimize it for the SEO. Thanks to WordPress, we have a plugin called Yoast SEO. So you can use that plugin to make sure you optimize it for the search engine later. So the first time you write it for your audience. Don't worry about the keywords. Don't worry about all that. Just write it for your audience because you need to focus on the quality of the content, right? Then you can go back and try to put the key phrases and making sure that picture has alt text and alt tag and all those SEO jazz, right? Then make sure that your content is shareable because I've seen some blog posts that don't even have a sharing button. Why would you do that? If people like your button and some people tell me, oh, they're going to share. I'm like, how do you know? If you don't put a sharing button, do you think they're going to copy the link and put it on Facebook? People are freaking dang lazy. Okay? They're not going to do that. The majority. You have to provide it for them. So you have to give them the social sharing, button, provide it to them so they can share it. Does that make sense? And make sure you have the comment box also open on the blog. Any question?
Any you would recommend?
For the sharing, okay, for WordPress there are many. Yeah. You can look, Shareaholic is one. You can also look for, I'm not sure if it's Add This or Any This. It's another social sharing plugin. You can check it out. But I know Shareaholic is one.
I just did that today.
Uh-huh.
And it took me a while to find one that fit my look.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean there were some. Yeah.
What is it called?
It was called Hide IT.
Okay.
And it just made it easier where I could make little round buttons and I have to worry about images and all that other
Okay.
Because I don't want work.
All right, don't work. Okay, good.
Hide IT.
We'll check it. Okay. So make sure the content are shareable. Okay, because you want people to share, that means you're going to get linked back to your site. Does that make sense? Submit unique blog posts on external website. That's what I mentioned previously. When you do a guest post somewhere else, like even LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a blog feature. Yes. So if you're going to blog in LinkedIn, make sure that content is specific in LinkedIn. Does that make sense? Or another strategy, you can write out content in LinkedIn that has some sort of awesome value but not complete. If you want to read it, click here and take them to your site, and they can continue reading there. But when they go to your website, don't make them start from the beginning of the post. Continue from where you stopped. Do you see what I'm saying? If I say 1, 2, 3, see number 4, go to my blog. When they hit the link, it says 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't want to put like 1, 2, 3 even there because that's not going to work. Again, user experience matter. You gotta have to make sure that people have that awesome user experience. Does that make sense? Guest posts, of course. So even if you do guest posts, my recommendation is on your own website. I recommend that you blog once a week. Just a recommendation for a lot of businesses. When it comes to guest posts, maybe again, depends on the connection. You can do once a month, once every 2 months. You don't have to do it every month. If you have a good connection with well-known influencer or bloggers that accept content, then you can do it. And if you do it, make sure it's unique. Or you can just go to LinkedIn because LinkedIn has an open system where you can just blog there. So you can do once a blog in LinkedIn and you're good. And there are other sites coming up right now. Like, have you ever used Medium? It's become very popular. It's called medium.com. People can just put content there. It's become very popular. It's called medium.com. Okay, so you can.
Isn't that kind of like all the other spam?
It wasn't a spam. It used to be. Do you remember Scudo and Hub Pages?
Uh-huh.
It is similar to that, but very nice and very, very beautiful. I mean, it's just very simple. Gary Vaynerchuk has some of his content there. I've seen other experts also doing it, but they only do it once in a while. Does that make sense? That means they just write it there once, and it has a lot of followers. It's called Medium.com. So check it out. Very simple. They just have like an image, a title, and just blog. That's it. And people engage, people share. So you can do like once a month, maybe once every 2 months, as another way to kind of do a link building. Any question about the blogging? Yes.
On the guest post, when should you start doing that? Should you wait till your blog's established, or?
That is a beautiful question. When should I start guest posting? Should I start after I do several blog posts, or should I start right away? It's up to you. If you're an expert, let's say some people that I know don't even have a website, right? They're like speakers, and so some business asks me, "Can you write something for us?" Sure, I will write something for you. That shouldn't stop you from writing anything as a guest blogger. Does that make sense? It is still okay. So I would say, technically, I would say yes. Anything you do when it comes to guest blogging has to be on your site. Why? Because you want all the targeted traffic come to your site. Does that make sense? But that doesn't mean if somebody asks you to do it, no, just do it. Even if you don't have a blog post, I'd say go ahead and do it.